Hey, get the little thing out of the way, dang it. There we are.
We are live from the shadows of Jordan Hare Stadium.
I mean, like literally, there's the, look behind us there. We are talking, oh, look, it's a truck full of something.
I was going to say, like, Pat Sullivan, right there.
There it is,
the
right
man.
there, yeah. So, yeah, we just kind of roaming around campus, recording various videos today. I should have brought like a little arm thing for that. I have to remember that in the future. Help me remember that. Let's make we'll get like a, we need like a, unless we had Jared here to just hold it. That would have been ideal. So, I just killed something. I just killed something on my neck. Yuck.
Could we get hanging from this tree over here too?
I seriously am thinking about sticking it in the crook of that tree. I wonder what would happen. Let's see. Might get ants on it. Oh no! Now I got to get down on the ground. No, it's not going to work. Oh well.
Take a picture?
No, we're doing a video. We're doing a live video. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So anyway, yeah, I'll have it. So anyway, yeah, here we are, getting eaten up by some kind of weird bugs. But we are going to talk now. Oh, Rusty's killing it today. Yeah.
So what we wanted to talk about was coaching search, and this is what I wanted to do today. Is we're going to do this like an HR, a human resources exercise, where if you're hiring an employee, even an important employee, you would not start with names. You would start with what do we need in this person? What are the attributes, characteristics, experiences that we want in this person? So then when we're screening candidates, we can prioritize the different people based on the criteria and before we even get to the name thing, right? So this is how like a professional HR person would do the hiring thing. So I think what I wanted to do is I'm going to throw out some criteria and talk about it a little bit, and then Dan is going to respond and tell me like which ones he thinks matter, and we're going to kind of rank in terms of which ones are the most important. So I'm going to give you some. Here we go. Number one is recruiting potential.
Okay.
So who we think has the potential to recruit at the highest level.
Okay.
The second one related is proven recruiting level.
Ooh, okay.
So
I like it.
Not just recruiting potential, but actual classes delivered 24/7, composite rankings. Who's delivered the best classes and the best players over time. I would say another criteria is game management, so actually like managing the game. Yes. Another criteria that's very important is hiring good assistants and good people, and a consistent record of that. You can't hire one good person and get credit for that if you're going to lose people. This is if the best case scenario is we're wildly successful and our assistants are getting hired to be head coaches somewhere else. We got to be able to hire more good people.
Right.
So you can't be a one-trick pony. Like I know one really smart offensive coordinator. I'm going to bring that guy in, and then he's going, and then where are we? So the hiring good people thing matters. Another one I think is communication with the boosters, the fans, the administration, the ability.
Yeah.
And I think, and I want to put this in context, I think Gus, a little bit of an introvert, and didn't want to do that stuff, wasn't comfortable with it, and the Marston, not his personality either. He was like, I don't want to play this, I don't care.
In a different way, but the same outcome. Yeah, same result.
Outcome.
Yes.
So positive communication, engagement with boosters, fans, administration. I think another one is the ability to kind of do the CE role and manage what is ultimately a giant operation with hundreds of people and many millions of dollars budget. You have to have some management ability to run meetings and manage resources and determine priorities and stuff to make that work. I think another one is, does the person have SEC experience or not? Right, and again, we're talking about criteria. We can decide if it's important or not. I'm just throwing it out there. It clearly mattered to me at AD search with
That's a good point.
And then I think the last one I would throw out there is, record in big games or against good teams.
Oh yeah.
Do they have proven
track
wins?
Record, yeah.
Track record. Do they have proven wins against good teams?
Well, I'll just the first thing that comes to my mind, and this is unfortunate, is that some programs can get by on only some of those because the program itself kind of covers up the. Let's go down a little bit that way. There we go. Yeah, looks better. Because the program itself can do a lot of the heavy lifting in some ways.
Yes.
Nick Saban certainly recruits at a high level, but we know from other coaches they've had that you can still win pretty well at Alabama without recruiting at Nick Saban's level. I'm afraid at Auburn, not only do you need a good game managing, play calling, program running coach, you also need somebody that can recruit at a very high level. And those are kind of few and far between and hard to find. I mean, you know, Pat Dye was a good example of somebody that was a good administrator, a good in-game coach, and a good recruiter. Tuberville, to a certain degree, was able to do that. But they're few and far, and they had to be the fabled fit, right? They had to be able to fit in at Auburn.
I didn't even mention this one, but that's okay.
That's another one,
I'm not going to say fit is a criteria, but I'm going to say, have you like ability to recruit or connect in the South? I think is when we talk about fit. Is can you walk into somebody's home or to a high school in the South and relate to the players and relate to the high school coaches, relate to their families when you talk to mom and dad and grandmother? Can you connect with them? So I think that's the fit piece to me that matters.
And it's also like, do the fans relate to you and want to support you and give their money and support the team and show up, or they find you kind of a weirdo and an oddball, an odd duck, and they're like, because it's a lot of it is the charisma of the coach selling the program. I mean, think about Bruce Pearl in basketball versus Tony Barbee, for example. Talk about fit. Oh my gosh, right? It couldn't be starker.
But it also goes back to the other piece, the effort to make the communication piece, right? The willingness to do that stuff. And I think Barbie was like, didn't care.
Yeah, right.
Wasn't going, and so I think that part matters. I want to see someone who doesn't just say that, but someone who has done that.
I think there was a little bit of Barbie and Harsin, to be honest. That's kind of the feeling I get. Not as bad, but some of those traits that didn't work well here for Barbie also didn't work well for Harsin, I'm afraid. Anyway, I think that we need the recruiting badly, but we also need somebody that knows what to do with them when they get them here.
I agree, but I like, if you had to pick one,
I know,
between recruiting and in-game management, because part of my thing is always like, you can find assistants to cover your strengths or to help with your weaknesses, right? Mm-hmm. So you could be a good, do the communication piece or the recruiting piece, or you can hire somebody to help with game management.
Right. Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, honestly, where we are right now, we need a good recruiter. But we always like to point out, Gus recruited okay, and he, I mean, in an in-game way, more often than not, I thought he was pretty decent. That's why we were a fairly winning team under him.
Right. But some of it is he went and got really good recruiters.
Yes, that's true too.
Right?
Yeah.
He went and got guys that could recruit, and they made a difference on the recruiting trail for him. And some guys that could be kind of big personalities, but he didn't feel like he was.
That's true. I would say that what we had in mind when we got rid of Gus in 2020 was keeping everything that Gus gave us and going more, right? Higher, better, more of that. So, in fact, we didn't. But it's hard to pick just one, because what you're trying to do is find the magical unicorn that can do all of those things to a certain degree.
I think when you aim for the unicorn, this is the thing. Maybe you get somebody who's a 5 on all those things, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'd rather find somebody who is an 8 or a 9 in some of those things, and then try and cover up the other areas, right?
That's true. So which one do you think is most important?
I think right now it's maybe recruiting.
Yeah.
We saw this with the previous staff, the understanding of what is expected of a head coach in a recruiting operation, and the willingness to do the work, to spend the time out on the trail, to spend the time talking to people, to spend the time learning about who they are, so then when they can have that conversation, they've connected, to do the reach out on social media, text with them and their families and that kind of stuff, to build the relationships, so then when they get on campus, where it's not the first time you've ever heard of a coach or whatever. I honestly think it's that, because I think we can hire coordinators who could do the game scheming stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we can hire some other position coaches who can help with recruiting key areas or key players or whatever. But I think we cannot afford another head coach who is not going to put out maximum effort and maximum productive effort on the recruiting side.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I mean, and again, being trapped between Nick Saban and Kirby Smart just really brings home the fact that we've got to be able to get players away from them. We can't let them have anybody they want and we scrape up what's left. And we shouldn't have to, is the thing, right? I mean, there are enough players to go around if you compete. If you're competent at it and you compete and you can do it. And we can do that. We know from the history that we can do that. So,
what I also think, and other people may disagree with this, and I'm interested in your reaction, is I think at this point in time, the communication piece is really, really
yeah, that's
coming
fair.
out of what we just came out of.
Right.
We can't have somebody who doesn't do that, who doesn't understand what's involved, isn't willing to do that, isn't willing to go out on the the banquet circuit and eat chicken and talk to the booster groups and go play golf with the right people,
right.
And show up at the different high school events that they're supposed to and talk to high school coaches, like if they, and then and honestly, like this is the parallel is we need the football equivalent of Bruce Pearl,
yes.
right? Who bought pizza for the students and engaged with every single group on campus and said, we need you, we need your support. This is how you can help.
We're all pulling together.
Yes, and
that's that fabled alignment.
yes, but also we're smart about it. Like we need to take advantage of the fact that we have a great basketball program, and we need to get recruits into games over there to say, look, this is just part of like a perk.
Yeah,
you're going to
exactly.
be a football player. You're going to get tickets to these games, and you're going to get to enjoy this experience with these other students, and it's fun, and it's a great atmosphere, and it also just shows like the fan support and how it can be at.
That's right. By the way, we just had a comment. Someone asked, what's the vibe like on campus? And we got here at 10 o'clock this morning, and it was pretty quiet because this is a 6:30 game. So we expected that it wouldn't be a lot hopping quite yet. But there's quite a few people around already. A number of the tents have people watching TV, watching the early games, and it was hard to get parking, even far out from campus where we ended up. So, and the impression I got seeing on game day a while ago, they showed Cadillac talking to Colt Kubelik. I have a feeling that they're going to come out tonight and it's going to look like 2004 in a number of ways, and it should be very, very, very exciting, right? Yeah. So in other words, I think that the vibe right now is a little low key, but you can tell that it's coming. I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I think we'll definitely have a check on that about 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and we're going to go to Tiger Walk, and you'll know the vibes there.
Yeah.
Definitely. And I think it's going to be really, really strong, really high energy.
So don't forget, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, come out and see us at Haley Center, the AU bookstore. We have copies of We Believed, as well as Auburn basketball from Barkley Bruce. We got a great new quote from David Housel yesterday when we talked to him over at his house about. He said it was the best and most comprehensive book ever written on Auburn basketball. Can't beat that.
That's a ringing endorsement right there.
That is fantastic. So come on by and get your copy of one or both of those books. And poor Ben has the flu. Yeah, you and the Texas A&M team last week apparently. Yeah, we're gonna yell for you too. Don't worry. But then after the book signing at 3, we'll probably do at least another video or so and record something or other for you guys. So we're good for now. Any last thoughts for the folks?
I'm interested in the listeners and the fans' feedback on these priorities and which ones you think should be most important. They can't all be number one because then none of them are. So which one would, if you had to rank like 1, 2, 3 out of all that stuff we talked about, which one would you rank?
There we go. Good deal. I'm going to try this little thing here as I sign off. If I hit this button, it turns around, and now I can say, hey John, here's John, and then look right up here behind us. Yeah, there's the stadium. So, all right, gang, we will see you guys. There I am. We'll see you guys in a little while, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.